And we're back.
Are we?
100 years, and we're back. It's been a long journey, full of highs and lows, hiatuses, and all that type of fun stuff. But we're here now. We're here now. In this next installment of Reclamation, let me figure out what session of Reclamation we're on. This is session 19. Session 19 of Reclamation. A journey that has taken us far and wide. And a campaign that has spanned so far over 7 months. Here we are now for the next installment. Last time we got together, we went over at a high level the beginnings of what Isaiah's new form is, its theoretical potential, and what his next steps are going to be as a we'll say primordial god of the night and darkness is out there and paid the verbo fee to get access to Isaiah's body, but will not return it. And so there is a surcharge that comes with it for not vacating the premise, and hopefully at some point we pay that back. But beyond that, Ray, is there anything that you would want to add or say in terms of what we need to catch up on, how much you've missed the people, how much you missed the dice rolling, the bad dice rolling?
No one has been missed. Which is untrue. I have missed this occasion between the two of us for a while, and I'm glad that we've returned to it. I'm just feeling the urge to act out and pretend that I don't care. Full admission. I will say that we left off at a moment in time where it was a changed, dark chapter, which was somewhat fitting, but also frustrating for the narrative. An unrealized accident led to the hijacking of Isaiah's mortal vessel, or at least most of it. Isaiah has gained a new form, with a new name and identity even, that could lead to him maybe even being better than he was before. Who knows? Things seem to be different for our new Atom. I believe the name you chose was to be.
Yeah, I did. Spelled Atum, from what I recall. Don't hold me to that. If anyone goes back to the last episode, just don't. If it's not lining up, don't. It's not true. Last episode is actually not canon. This is the new canon. So if it is Atum. But yeah.
So you're hanging out at the water cooler, and Amun shows up. It's a new pile of paperwork.
Sign this?
This is going to have to be filed by 5. And it is 4:59.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Sign here, and then sign here.
You pull out your magical timepiece, and you know that you only have 7 seconds to press this.
Oh my gosh.
To stop time and fill out all this paperwork.
What does the primordial deity of the IRS look like?
Oh, it's real bad. It's real bad. It's just a room full of gold and dragon-like limbs sticking out, shouting orders, throwing coins and paperwork everywhere, and people just trying to make sense of it. That's all it is.
Oh.
When in reality, as I start my music here to set the mood, and you should obviously set the mood to anything you decide is appropriate, but as far as the eye can see, a landscape of rocky, arid earth stretches as far as the eye can see, with what looks to be dark sands ravaging the horizon, whipping back and forth in gusts and gales of wind, obscuring the scenery as it changes around you. One thing that is very plenty in these dark deserts are bones and remnants of cloth. At the front of the pack, pushing forward, is an ostrich.
Mm.
Dour, dutiful, and focused on reading the patterns that this illusory desert is laying forth before him.
I totally forgot that I met the ostrich, man. I thought this was a legit ostrich. I was about to be like, I will mount the ostrich. And that would have had some consequences, so I'm glad I did not. I'm glad I caught that.
On occasion, he looks back towards the group following him. Next in formation is the half-elven doctor. His name not known to you, simply referred to by a code name, as many individuals are here.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be relaying information from the ostrich, who has the need and desire to march ahead in order to take in the signs of the desert beforehand. Not too far, just about maybe 30 feet or so. And occasionally will stop and give the signal for the doctor not to approach. As dark and effervescent spirits crawl underneath the sands, leaving footprints from unseen forms. Inky black handprints and footprints wrap themselves around the ostrich, never making contact, and then just go off with the wind. Eventually the ink fades, and the ostrich signals for the group to come forward again. Next up in line is Amun, now appropriating himself in dark black cloth whenever the fake sun shines through. He seems to have regained quite a bit of his strength in these past few days that you've traveled. The supposed whereabouts of this gnomish knight that is led to be the master of this ostrich was supposed to be a day away. However, traveling in this desert has proven to be turbulent even for an individual who is native to it for many, many years. Atom, would you like to describe your appearance and your travel garb as you navigate these deserts with your flanks of Falco and the little Grung off to either side of you?
That's right. That's right. Atom looks like Albu Alim. No. But he does have the appearance of someone who's not necessarily geared for combat per se. It's definitely a sun shaded garb of head covering and robes to some extent protect his skin from the sun, but in addition combat a slight sense of insecurity of what his new form looks like. And this new, we'll say, shade that he's not befitted to as of right now. So it serves as a 2-for-1, largely. He has his armaments to his side and a light pack of basic necessities. But overall, he looks determined to not get lost in these illusory deserts. Whether that's through this ostrich fella or some means that he may have to conjure up on his own if it comes to that point. But nonetheless, that is kind of what Adam looks like right now.
I would like for Atom to roll me a d20 and tell me what he gets upon it.
Lucky number 13.
13. As you're pushing forward through these desert winds, you find it to be the case that the mechanics of the desert, the deeper and deeper you go, become stronger. These illusions are becoming more and more real as time goes on. Initially, it was just passive things. Your shadow grew a pair of horns, and you would blink, realize that it's not real, and it would dissipate. On occasion, you would find yourself covered in water, drenched, soaked in the middle of the desert. Nowhere near an oasis, nowhere near any form of rainfall. And you push it from your mind, and you regain your normal form. As you push deeper, the ostrich brings up to note certain totems that have been placed in the desert. And they look familiar to you, Adam. They were ever present amongst the city of Chiraku, but you didn't know their purpose, and you thought them just simple enchantments or fortifications of some magical kind. Now you see that with the amount that they had in Chiraku, these rods essentially are deposits, wellsprings of this illusory magic, and you need but simply touch the head of it, releasing whatever control that these illusions have been slowly accruing across you, and depositing it into the totem, pushing it back into the sands down below. You know Chiraku was deep within the illusory desert itself, and yet no illusions plagued you there. These totems have a certain range to them, and do not accrue too much magic while within a range of them upon your own spirit and body itself. However, to travel through the desert would require you to vacate these small sanctuaries. Only a few days have passed since you have started your journey, and making camp at these rods, these totems, is oftentimes the best course of action.
How big are these totems?
These totems are, I would say, if you were to look at a farmer fence post, about maybe 5 inches in radius and about 6 feet tall.
Okay.
Initially, as Falco and the doctor would come close to them, they throw an inquiry towards the way of the ostrich. Is it possible for us to travel with something like this? And the ostrich shakes his head. No. No! You cannot remove it from the sands. That would enchantment. This is an old magic, and is the only reprieve we have from such things as these horrible deserts and the dreams pushed upon us. Plus, you'd be a dick if you were to take that away. And they both look at Atom and Amun and shake their heads. An honest inquiry from foreigners and individuals like yourself. Amun looks over towards you and whispers, I'm glad they asked first. You make camp, you leave, and you travel to the deserts back to the present time. Atom, as you are walking, your foot hits something in the sands amongst a garden of bones. You clank upon something. You roll a 13. Inside the sands, you find a black mace.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if I can understand if this mace has any magical properties?
Roll me an Arcana check.
That's an 8.
It's hard to make anything, any discerning Arcana checks or evaluations in a desert full of magic.
Hmm. How visible is it in the sand?
You see what looks to be the full mace head itself. It's riveted with small blades on 8 sides or so. And it's buried about handle deep or so.
You said it's a black mace. Do I understand the material it's made out of?
You look at it, and it looks like a deeply furnished and stained steel. The black upon it might more be so filth than the actual material of the metal.
Hmm. I will take I'll take a cloth and grab the mace, so that my hand is not directly touching it, but I can still pull it out of the sand.
You pull the mace out with bearing a cloth upon your hand, which is a more proper move than most would make. And you have, at this point in time, a +1 mace in your possession.
Hmm. When I was last episode demonstrating my abilities, I understand that I was using a scimitar.
You were gifted the scimitar of Falco for a short amount of time to see if you could smite.
Okay, but that was not a weapon gifted to me.
No, he has since reclaimed it.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Okay, then I will take this mace, and then did I find this at an encampment, or was I already traveling?
You are in the midst of traveling at this point in time. The Grung and Falco have moved a little ways away from you, but they have not left you in sight.
Okay. I would call for Falco and the Grung, and I would say, "Come here and see what I found." And I would
They
hold out the mace for them to inspect with me.
You'll see Falco call ahead towards Amun to stop the travels in group, and they give you your moment in time to show, and the Grung immediately approaches. The interesting thing about the Grung is that at the point in time, you've traveled for a few days and still not a single word you've heard from it, although you do know that they communicate with Amun and the Doctor, but
Yeah.
the words are always whispered. The Grung just kind of hops forward and just kind of looks at it with curious eyes and is looking under it since they're about 1.5 feet tall, getting a little better angle than you can have.
Hmm.
And Falco will also come join you to look at it and just take it in and just, oh, you found an actual weapon this time.
Can I just clarify what race is Falco? He's not a blue Aarakocra, right?
Falco is no, he's not a blue Aarakocra. He is an elf.
Okay. Okay. That's right. That is right. I'll point to the sands where I just found it, and I would say, could we just take 10 minutes to dig around this area to see if we can find anything else? This probably belonged to a body. I mean, there is a chance it may have fell off a pack, but I think a mace like this is not the type to. It would definitely be missed if it was dropped. So I think someone may have. Someone may have died out here. So if we could just take a look here. No more than 10 minutes.
The expedition will be stopped for the time being. Amun goes back and looks towards the ruckus. The ostrich will also come back and just say, "Oh, we have a little treasure hunter on our team, I guess. Seems like the youth has a curiosity about him." And Amun just kind of looks at him dubiously and just, okay.
I'm trying to change my temperament because I can't get worked up over everything. So I'm not gonna pay the little chatty Cathy here. Much mind. I've had to deal with some scathing remarks from Apophis. I'll let that get to me if it comes to that point, but not this yapper over here. And I'll begin digging. I don't have a shovel on my person, so if anyone either has a shovel on their person to share, or
The group will provide you with a shovel. There will be 2 shovels amongst the 2 of you. You and Falco will begin shoveling at this point. Amun is going to start discussing something with the doctor.
okay,
The
so
Grung will also try to dig with their hand.
okay. Is there anything that we need to make for a dig check of sorts?
This is an interesting thing. I guess roll me survival.
Okay.
I'll say survival. Yeah, survival for now.
Okay. If it's a survival check, I got a 16.
16? That's pretty good. I'm going to say amongst this garden of waylaid random bones that are here, and very ever present throughout the desert, you dig and dig and dig, and initially Amun, or Adam, I almost called you Isaiah, and then I called you Amun, now I called you the proper name. You find your head decapitated, you dig past it, dispelling the illusion, and you find what seems to be a body. You see a torso from the side profile, an arm sticking out. It is clammy and cold, and you see a pack attached to this torso as well from behind. I will say that the dress is that not of Jabaxi. It is odd. It seems to be from a far more temperate climate. Long sleeves, a traveling cloak, heavy, thick material, not too thick as to insinuate the Eastful wastes, or Eastfelgen, but thick enough to be colder than here.
Yeah. Uh, can I make an athletics check to remove the body from the sand?
You may do so
Cool.
with advantage, as
Yeah.
you will have help.
Yeah, Falco will probably give me. He'll clutch up. He'll clutch up. Yeah, I'll need him to clutch up. That'll be a 14 total.
14 total. You're able to get the body out for the most part.
Okay. I'll lay the body down on the sand, and now that the whole, all of it is pulled out of the sand, I'd like to make a history check to see if I can understand where this person was from.
As you do so, Falco, upon seeing the face, stops for a split second in time, looks confused, and he puts a hand over the face just to, you assume, to dispel an illusion, and then just immediately seems relieved. And you see that the desert takes a toll upon him at this moment in time as well.
I will, I'll set a hand on Falco's shoulder, and I'll say, brother, this desert is home to many tricks and many mischievous promises. Please stay strong, and if you ever have doubt, look towards us, because all that we can count on for what is real is the group that we travel with. And I'll give him a little pat on the back. Give him a little pat on the back.
Roll me a persuasion check real quick.
I got you, buddy. I got you, buddy. It's a 26.
26. He looks very relieved from this moment in time. I got to remember his voice. I don't remember what it was, but I'll just
It's Falco
step
from
into
the
his
game.
skin real quick. Yeah. He doesn't go, hi-ya, that's Fox. I don't know. Falco just looks at you and he nods reassuredly. He looks almost sick from this moment in time. And he dry heaves for a split second in time. I appreciate your guidance in this moment in time. I will always seek you and Amun's guidance when I seem to be lost. This is your land. I am a stranger in it. But I feel at home with you, knowing who of you have helped.
I nod reassuringly, and after his dry heave, I hand him a little water skin, and I'll say, here, drink this, and I will tend to the body. And once I give him the water, that's when I will try to analyze to get more information from the body with a history check to see if I recognize where it's from. That is a 22 on my history check.
22. This man seems like a Salian traveler, which doesn't explain his presence here. But you see the cause of death as you pulled his torso free from the sands. He's missing what looks to be a good chunk of circles. Not perfect, but torn through his body, almost like giant fangs bit through his stomach, leaving him dead here in the sands. The odd part is he's not eaten, if that would be the insinuated cause of death. His body mostly remains intact besides these two large puncture wounds.
Interesting. Do the puncture wounds give, if I look at them closely and maybe potentially make a medicine check, do I see or detect or smell any type of venom?
I will say, since you asked initially, you do smell a venom upon this person.
Okay. Interesting. What bit him out here in the wastes, in these illusory desert? What could have bit him? Okay. Do I get with just assessing the body and its condition? Do I get a estimate of how long this individual's been dead?
From your initial assessment, he's not been dead very long, but you can roll me a medicine check to discern more.
All right, I'll do it. A 13.
13? I'll say with a 13, you become aware of the dubious nature upon his face. He does not look to be in pain. He looked to have died very pleased, which is quite odd. Not a smile, but a content look upon his face.
An O face?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Fair
Say
enough.
that.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know
Fair
what?
enough.
If we could all go out that way, that's the way to go.
Yeah,
you know?
there you go. Straight to heaven. All right. I will look inside his pack for any contents, a journal, a diary of sorts, / other materials that may be useful.
Looking deep inside his pack, you see that he had a number of messages taken upon him. A number of the correspondences are seemingly unimportant, except for one. One particular legate of what seems to be a town close to the north of Colette in Salia, called the Masala League, has inquired as to the disappearance of the Mad Mage of Romy's Hill. Asking what seems to be an unknown individual in the whereabouts of Romy's Hill. The correspondence also recollects what seems to be the appearance of scorpion-like creatures coming from the peak and enormous amounts of sand reaching down.
Wait, from where?
From the peak of Romy's Hill.
Oh, whoa. Interesting. Okay. Then in that case, I'll take those notes. Actually, I might share those notes with Almoon. I'll give it to him for him to read, either now or on his own time. But is there anything else in this pack of note?
Yes. Besides lettering, you will find about 60 pieces of gold placed within a small box or so, like basically a small treasure chest that was placed at the very bottom compartment of his pack. Very nicely nestled in there. 100 feet of rope. A wineskin, water skin. Two separate things. Bottle of brandy. A bottle of brandy, the alcohol. No.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Throw the first one away. Throw it away.
Yeah. Enough. Water skin. Wine skin. Ropety rope. Brandy.
You will find a pair of sending stones.
A pair of sending stones.
Matching.
Okay. And then anything else?
Roll me an investigation check.
found in the pack of a dead Salian. Investigation. An 18. That is my third 18 this session.
That's
is
pretty
gnarly.
good.
That is gnarly.
That's pretty good. Amongst the possessions, you seem to have found most things. You take the boots off. You find what seems to be a couple of little like ribbons tied around his big toes, which it's hard to attribute that to anything other than maybe a superstitious form of traveling. There's one thing you do know, is that this individual had a wedding ring, and it's gone. Looks like a thick band that still left a pattern upon his finger in the form of what looks to be a sunset. Just sunset, sunset, sunset going all the way around the ring itself. So whoever did this left some contents of the pack, which there was still some room in, whether or not there was contents taken out, but they also took the ring. And that's it.
How much... This might be a business check, but how much does this mace seem like it's worth?
How much does what seem worth?
The mace.
The mace?
Yep.
The mace, it's a little bit better than a regular mace. So you could probably get, especially, it's foreign, it's Salian make, it's going to go up in market. You could probably get 100 gold out of it at least, you'd assume.
See, this is my beef with DMs, alright? This is where I call you out. All of you DMs that are listening, all 100,000 of you across the world, you cannot tell me that a exotic +1 weapon to sell is 100 gold, but when I go to a store to purchase an exotic +1 weapon, I gotta pay like 1,500 gold pieces. What are these fucking rates? This is not Pawn Stars, bro. It's D&D. Leave me the fuck alone.
Used. Free sale, bro. That's used. That's garbage
Shut
to
up.
me, bro.
Shut up.
Garbage to me.
Your mace is a paperweight. Ray, go fuck yourself. All right.
The moment you buy a watch, I don't want it no more.
All right.
Garbage.
All right.
Used.
All right. It touched your hands. Gross. All right. That sounds fine. Let me see here. Okay. Okay. Does the notes in the pack, did that give any clues to his identity? Like who he was?
No, it didn't seem like it gave any notes on his identity. Oftentimes a message system in somewhere like Salia and even Jabaxi is the case of like you give this message to whoever can deliver it, that if you can't find a delivery service nearby, you give it to a guy, you pay them a certain amount of gold, and you say, like, if you deliver this, they'll pay you money as well. Or you can even sell a message, say that, hey man, this is going to be very important, I can't make the delivery, if you give me 30 gold, you'll get way more for it for your trouble if you're going in this direction. I just can't make the delivery, Like, I'm not going anywhere near there. So, oftentimes messages, especially when sealed, can be bartered.
Okay. Okay. Then in that case, I will let the body be. Actually, I will put the body to rest. I will put it back in the hole. And I will bury it. I will bury it. Actually, no. I will carry the body with me for the time being. I will sling it over my shoulders, and I will carry it with me.
The doctor initially says, Isaiah, Atom. This is more than likely a waste of energy.
I look at the doctor and I would say, Doctor, what do you believe happens when you die?
When I die is vastly different because of my elven blood compared to when you die, Atom. Evidently, your death is far more difficult to get to than mine. But no, in terms of Jabaxi, I don't know what happens when you die.
Well, we can broaden this beyond our own lands and just broaden it. Our soul must go somewhere, and we all must face a sort of judgment, and we all must be placed somewhere based on that judgment. Who is to say that when you die in the illusory desert, your soul doesn't stay in the illusory desert and wanders the waste in hopes to find judgment? And in fact, maybe your judgment is just staying here for eternity. This individual here clearly was not of this land, but got caught in a situation that may keep his soul in a form of eternal damnation, when all it seems to be is that he was to deliver a letter. Now, I don't consider myself the one who judges all souls, or I'm not the one to say who is all good or all evil. I have my hunches, but I don't think this individual deserves this sort of fate, considering the task at hand. And if he does deserve worse, well then, he deserves to be properly judged and sentenced accordingly. So, let's at least take him somewhere where the illusion is not as thick or opaque as it is right now.
You see Falco come to your side and say, "We will take him as far as the first totem. It will not be that far, I assume. Surely that will suffice as a proper burial ground." And the doctor looks at both of you and just kind of
Yeah, relax, bro.
scoffs initially and just says, "It's your moisture if you wish to waste your time on every corpse you come across in this desert. But it's good to see that you're back in good shape again."
Al Mualim!
Muad'Dib!
uh,
You see the grung just cover himself in water. Got to keep that body moisturized.
I can't think of a response fast enough, so I won't have a response fast enough. So I'll just let it be.
Yeah, he walks away.
I'll let the doctor be a little sassy, little Kathy.
He wasn't seeking reprisal. He was just kind of talking shit.
Yeah. All right. I'll keep carrying the body, and we can proceed through the desert.
You make your journey forward. Now, Isaiah, I would love for you to just roll a survival check just to see how the group in general moves forward, and add a +5 to that roll,
All right, here we go.
along with yours, if you have anything.
All right, that is an 11.
An 11 total. Okay.
Yep. That's above 10, for the record.
It is. Just right above the hill. Just there.
Yep, for what it counts.
You travel a good distance. The new added weight of this body is taking a toll on you, Isaiah. On occasion, you feel the little grung push the butt of the corpse as you carry him, piggyback style on your back, I assume, as he's trying to give you some reprieve on as it slouches down. You go about an hour before you even find a totem, and you come across a set of ruins. High, decrepit walls made from clay blocks lay before you in what seems to be a former outer wall of an ancient city. Far in the distance, you see what looks to be a looming tower-like structure that has torchlight. And the group has come to a point where the ostrich says, "Okay, this is something I've not come across."
I look over to Amun and I would say, Amun, you've seen this land and you've seen its change over the course of thousands of years. What do you presume this place to be?
Amun will walk up to the wall. It's only about, I'd say, 20 feet tall or so, and whatever structure it has left is tentative at best. And he just starts brushing off whatever sand he can see to possibly, get any type of knowledge from it. And he just kind of like kicks the wall to test the structure. It holds quite a bit. And then he hops up and just takes a deep, long look further into the structure, deeper into the compound. I cannot be sure, but I find that this could be just an abandoned city from old Jabaxi. Or what was Jabaxi before, in my day. However, lots of walls and towers were had in every city back then, so I can't be too sure until we get deeper. Should we make camp here, Atom?
I think we should, at the very least, make camp. I'm highly skeptical if this old city is worth our time and energy as we navigate through this desert.
A totem must be nearby, hopefully. My vision is starting to cloud, more so than I'm normally used to. The
Okay. I'll use a first level spell slot to use detect magic, and I know it's only a range of 30 feet, but I will use it as I walk around, and I just want to see if I can get a faint sniff of a totem in the near vicinity.
All right. You want to throw me a detect magic up there, and how far do you go? Where do you walk? Tell me where Isaiah decides to go.
I feel like if I'm gonna make encampment, yeah, it's a trap. You gotta go into the city. I think I will try to go navigate inside the city if possible with this body. If it's something that I can't enter the city without parting ways with the body, then I would give the body to Falco and proceed into the city. But if there's a pretty easy, I'll say,
Oh,
route to enter the city, I would just walk in.
yeah.
And then I would try to navigate to a center, a square, a something of sorts, and see if I can see if there's a totem inside the city itself, while exercising a modest amount of caution because who knows what the hell this is.
You're easily able to walk through many of the broken sections of the wall just to enter the city itself. Pushing forward, you see remnants of civilization. You pass by a number of smithies, farms that seem to have been long abandoned, broken grinding stones, every weapon stolen or either decrepit or destroyed. No crops seen to be planted anywhere about. A number of cloths still remain. Somehow, in a place devoid of life, seems like insects and other vermin have not taken to devouring them. The first sign of life you see is in a skeleton. You see a skeleton pushed against the wall with the remains of a gigantic stinger tip punctured through its chest, pinning it and leaving it for centuries.
Hmm. Do I get anything from my detect magic as I walk around?
The closer and closer you get towards the center of anything, you feel the faint remnants of hallowed ground. And the closer and closer you get towards this fountain, you see what looks to be the border remainder. How long does detect magic last? A
10
minute?
minutes. 10
10 minutes?
minutes.
Yeah, you can make there plenty of time. Uh, you find that there is a small amount of hallowed ground in this little structure around the fountain, including this large, large fountain that still gives off water. You see what looks to be a shattered totem not too far away.
I will go to the shattered totem. I will set the body down next to it and investigate the shattered totem. I want to make an Arcana check to see if I can understand the totem, see if it's repairable, or if I can get any idea of its magic, of its secret sauce.
I'm going to say this. The group has been traveling with you, and they're doing slight investigations here and there, just taking it in to see what's going on. As you go towards the totem, you know that these things act as well springs of illusory magic, great, great well springs that slowly disperse it throughout the ground. And as you approach, you know that this could potentially be very dangerous. But you may make your Arcana check.
Okay. I'll make my Arcana check. And then I got a little trick for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Little rat bastard. All right.
Yeah,
That's a 12 on my Arcana check.
Arcana check.
Tell me everything.
Yeah. You place your hands on the totem, looking at the pieces, trying to make sense of the figures that were carved into it in the past. Each totem itself is different, but the magic inside acts as the same. So you're trying to discern what is the difference, Like what is the difference? What can I do to make this thing back up and running? As you do so, you feel a surge of magic essentially jolt from the sanctuaried fountain, which is far enough away to not envelop you, but it goes into the totem itself. All the pieces shine for a second, and then they dim. Can you roll me an intelligence saving throw.
And this is where I roll a nat 1 again.
Please. Please, if you do, that'd be wonderful.
Not this time, buddy. That's a natural. That's not natural. It's a 9 total.
9 total? Okay. That's still high enough. You feel the remnants of the illusory magic that burst from this totem itself reignite for a split second in time, and then the fountain itself pushes it down deeper underground, keeping it locked up. For a split second, you were worried, and then you're not. You get the sense that these totems are carved not in the likeness of the gods of Jabaxi, but simply the animals.
Give me an example.
The first totem you came across was the totem of a hippopotamus at the very top, almost in the depiction of like the first 3 feet of the totem near the top where you would tap it in order to ground yourself from the magic. And then typically verses are carved within magical script going downwards. Now, this definitely seems more so towards the aim of wizardry than it would be towards anything paladin-like. But you have the feeling that if you write certain words, that maybe you could make a similar type of effect if you had, I guess, maybe the similar type of wood. But you don't know what kind of wood that would be, as not any wood would simply do for these totems, or they would be everywhere throughout the desert, not just in Chiraku or any other major city.
How far did that magic come from that reached the totem from the sanctuary?
It seemed like it came straight from the edge of the pool of water, so maybe like 20 feet.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Ooh. Can I? Not can I. I can. I know I can. I know I can. What does my detect magic tell me about the pool itself? I know you said wizardry, but what type of magic is it? Could you tell
The,
or no?
the pool itself is not necessarily wizardry, it's part of the hallowed spell. So any type of hallowed ground that would be cast upon a shrine or a temple of the gods you are familiar with. There's certain rules, and essentially it gives vision towards the certain deity that would prevail over it.
When I look at the rod, do I see the animal that's on it that represents it?
It is gone, shattered into pieces, splinters of wood.
Okay. I ask around the group and I tell them about my findings that I found so far, the connection between the animals and the temple rods up until the totems, I should say, up until this point. And I think I would encourage them to, I would tell them we need to find some sort of indication of what this totem was supposed to represent. Something in the city that either pays homage to a particular god or goddess or some primordial being, because we need to see if we can repair this totem or at the very least create a new one so that we can dispel the illusion. I would tell that to the group.
You'll see the ostrich approach and see the shattered totem and just say, "Oh no, what a shame. I think only a fool would do something like this, unless it was simply waylaid and destroyed over time. Who knows how old some of these old bastards are?" And he's like picking through it. "Do you think it was an ostrich?"
I look at him and I haphazardly like attempt to say like, where I come from, ostriches are very well appreciated. There's a good chance that this could have been an ostrich.
"Well, they should be. They're most noble creatures. I am something more than them, of course, but, if we're just gonna remake this totem, I'm just saying, I'm open to the idea."
Mm. I would look over to our grung companion and I would say, could you please get to work on whittling a small ostrich figurine for... What's this ostrich's name again?
He's not given a name.
Oh, okay. For this individual here.
The grung will immediately nod, smile, and then start breaking chairs to find an appropriate piece of wood that's large enough. The ostrich looks over and just seems somewhat refreshed from this new up-and-coming totem that will be ever present in a city where nobody lives. Isaiah, the rest of the team starts to sprout out, and Amun just says... Well, he approaches you and he says, "So how are you feeling now? Do you feel snaky? Or do you feel more so appropriate?"
I think I would be a better judgment on my feelings once I'm outside the desert. I operate with heavy skepticism of not only my surroundings, but of my own sense of being, as I don't know if the desert is playing tricks on me, trying to tell me something, or something else entirely. If I was a snake, though, let me know if you see scales.
"Oh, I'll let you know. Don't worry. I might let you know in another way faster than others, but we'll see."
I appreciate it. I mean,
I trust in your judgment, Atom. And if we have any luck in this place, we'll find a way to get you back to being you soon enough. Puts a hand on your shoulder and he points off in a direction of the tower. "I'm gonna head in that direction. See what I can see from there.
let me know what you come away with, and in the meantime, I'm going to try to not get into too much trouble.
If I need help, I'll break something and make a lot of noise."
You won't have to. I take out one of the sending stones and I put it in Amun's palm and I'll say, "Tell me what you need when you need it, and I'll let you know if I need anything when I need it."
He looks at you, surprised by your find, and he just kind of looks back at the doctor and he says, "Well, I guess good things do happen to those who take care of the dead." And he'll throw it up, catch it, and he'll start walking off, making his way towards the tower through the city.
I look over to the doctor. How did he react?
He didn't notice it. He was too distant, ducking in and out of a number of structures, investigating what you asked them to investigate.
Okay. I make a mental note that he is in fact a doctor, and continue about my investigation. I'm going to step towards the fountain.
Okay.
And I'm gonna look inside. And do I see the basin of this fountain? Like, do I see the
Oh
bottom?
yeah, it's not very deep. It's about a foot and a half.
And I understand that this fountain is under the effects of the hallowed spell.
Yep.
I'm gonna hold my hand out, and I'm gonna see how you react to this. I'm gonna cast a first level spell, a classic one, a doozy. It's called Purify Food and Drink.
Oh. Ho ho ho.
It says all non magical food and drink within a 5 foot radius sphere centered on a point of your choice within range is purified and rendered free of poison and disease. I want to point it to the center of the fountain and I want to see what happens to the water.
You cast your spell upon the fountain, and the fountain immediately starts glowing. The water itself becomes turquoise, shined with beautiful magics, not realizing that there was contaminants or any type of infection inside of it. It looked normal at first, but now it looks effervescent
It's
and
Fiji.
impressive.
That's Fiji right there.
That's Fiji. Oh, yes. You get the good sense that whatever would have befallen anyone who drank from this fountain or chose to bathe in it, it is now cured and purified.
Hmm. When I'm gonna go over back to the splinters of the totem, and I'm gonna make another Arcana check. And this time I'm gonna be assessing the behavior of the fountain when I assess the totem for its magical properties. See if it has a reaction of sorts.
As you go back to the totem, and you wish to see the reaction, so a number of minutes will go by. You prod the totem, you try to get a reaction. You're being a scientist, quite literally.
Yeah.
Trying to be a scientist. You see that the fountain itself reacts more powerfully now that it's purified. And as you react and I'll say send a surge of just general magic into the totem, the fountain pulses harshly, and suddenly, Atom, you see that the totem itself, the base of it, begins to glow again, almost like it's sucking the illusory magic away from your whereabouts.
I'll take the totem and its splinters and fractures, and I will lay them across the surface of the fountain water. Pick them up, lay them across the surface. I assume the heavier portions will sink to the bottom. Um, and I will try to make a Arcana check of sorts to salvage what I could of this totem, if that's possible.
You begin essentially washing it, clearing it off, trying to see whatever you can find for it. You clear off one word on a piece of this totem that's written in Celestial. It says blood.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that the word is capitalized, insinuating that this is the beginning.
Mm. How far is the tower from here?
You get the feeling that, assuming that things are less and less decrepit the closer you get to the center, it might be a few miles,
Mm.
as the winds have been waging war with the outer wall, and you saw that was, you know, hanging on. Not greatly, but not barely either.
I would. How long has it been since Amun has left?
I would say 10 minutes.
Okay. I will. I think I'll use my sending stone and I will ask him to come back. I may have something here. So I'll say to the sending stone, please return to the fountain, making headway with broken totem. I trust you more than me. And I'll end the message.
Amun will say, holy shit, this thing works. Holy shit, this thing is real. This thing works. I found something amazing.
Latinas.
I will return. Please, and I think that's 13 words. I get 15. Okay, I can't remember how many I get. Oh god, I'm a terrible DM.
Finally, we can actually have a real conversation.
20 words. How many words? Oh, it's sendings, not the stone. It's the
25
spell.
words, right?
It's 25 words? Oh
Yeah.
Oh, it is 25 words. Yeah, he's got plenty. This is amazing and damning for Idalia. Please, and that's where it ends because he doesn't know how sending stones work. He's kind of a boomer in that sense.
Yeah. I know who he voted for in 2016.
Yeah, that's life.
Yep.
That's life, man.
Yep. That's how it works.
I
will wait for him to
Isaiah,
return.
Yeah. Isaiah, Amun returns after, I would say, like 15 minutes or so. And he's got, I'm going to say, what is essentially, it's not a treasure chest, but like just a regular chest with no lid on it. Just absolutely full of books and diamonds.
Nice,
And
nice.
he drops it on the ground. And he says, Atom, I know exactly who this city belonged to. And he throws a book from the box on the ground, and you see the image of Thoth on the cover.
That's my boy. He's never met me, but that's my boy. I'm a big fan.
May as well be, yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah.
I look at him and I'll say, well, this is a very pleasant discovery because last thing I really need is that we found the home, the childhood home of, Set or something like that, and he's just right downstairs in the basement or something like that. I could go with good news now. So this is great. This is great. Now, what do I understand about what animal represents Thoth? That's not the crane, is it?
You know it to be the crane, and in the aspect of Tahuti, you know it to be the baboon.
Can I roughly make out the pieces of the totem to potentially reflect that it's supposed to look like a crane?
You get the feeling that you probably can't piece that together. The head itself, which is usually a different darker color to the rest of the totem, is completely like shattered or gone. But You do have a decent representation of what he would look like in here from this particular book and a number of these books. Now, whether or not it is Thoth or Tahuti that was representative on the totem, you don't know, and you don't know if that even matters.
Mm.
But you do need the materials.
I look
And
over. Go ahead.
yeah, Amun stands up and, he's showing you everything here and he's filling your pockets with diamonds. And he stands up and he looks around. Adam, where are they? And you look around and you see none of your companions.
Oh, Nike. At this moment, I will probably cast Dispel Magic on everything immediately around me and Amun. Like, if anything, within like a 5 foot, 10 foot radius around us. I want to make sure that these books and diamonds are okay primarily, these materials, and then I want to then worry about my companions and where they're going. So I'm going to do that Dispel Magic right here.
All right, roll me a d20 and add your charisma modifier because this is going to be an audible call shot here.
Okay. It's going to be a 21 total.
You shoot the ground and you purify for a time being what is Atom and Amun. And you see that Amun was initially under some type of illusion at first. And he shakes his head almost as if he's seeing things for the first time. And you shoot the ground around yourself and you see what looks to be a strange amount of moved earth here and there. You investigate each and every building you last saw your friends digging in. You find Falco's scimitar.
Did the diamonds or books change at all?
Oh no, they're the same.
Okay, continue.
They're real for the time being.
For the time being. They rolled a 22 on their deception check.
And yeah, they're pretty good. And you find what looks to be just like a number of instruments the doctor left behind, like a small hammer, essentially. The grung, you find the grung's water skin, which is basically refills every single day on its own and is particularly used in order to keep it alive and keep it from drying out, because if they don't bathe every 24 hours, it will die. And that becomes the immediate most pressing thing at this moment in time. You find no ostrich either. And suddenly, Isaiah, as you cast that dispel upon yourself, you are beholden to the presence of a large, fuzzy, looming figure. And you see Mowgli again.
What is real? What is not?
Roll me a perception check real quick as you're suddenly beholden with Mowgli, and he's looking at you, eating a bag of potato chips, breaking the fourth wall.
I knew it.
Doing what Drax never could.
Perception. That's a 6.
Isaiah, you see, not Isaiah, Atom. I'm never going to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Atom, you see not an ostrich feather on the ground, but a raven feather.
What is that raven bastard's name that I sent him off? Wait, did I even send him off? Do I recall his... What is his... can I make a history check to see if I remember his name?
Roll a history check.
14.
What raven bastard are you thinking of?
The guy that I met in the... I don't know if he's a raven, but he's a dark bird that I met in the Hag Coven that I took with me as a companion. He has the lightning charges.
Ah, I know who you're speaking of. I'm going to say that it's not him in particular that this feather came from. You rolled a 14?
Yeah.
It is the feather of the familiar formerly known as Tink.
Okay. We're just throwing the fucking baby and the bathwater at me and just seeing what happens, huh? Alright. Alright.
I will say this. Tink has not been traveling with you
Yeah.
this whole time.
Yeah. So... Do I see Tink? Oh, I guess with a 6, I don't see Tink.
No.
Okay. I look at Mowgli and I say, Mowgli, are you real?
You see Mowgli, without even breaking his emotion upon his face, just due to how boldly you asked that question, tears well up in his eyes. As you know deep down in your heart, he is real and doesn't know how to answer that. Because he doesn't know if he is or as he's chewing on jerky.
Oh.
Why would you ask me that?
Can I make an insight check?
Yeah, you can make an insight check.
A 24.
Yeah, he's real. He just doesn't know. He doesn't know. But he was shrouded from you for a while, and now you see him, and oh my god.
Okay. I put a hand on Mowgli's shoulder and I said, I lost sight of you, and the desert is playing tricks on me, old friend. Now, we need to find our companions. Have you seen them?
I have not. I was digging in the sands, hoping to find a piece of artwork that depicted an animal, and I couldn't find any, but I did find this jerky that definitely belonged to the doctor.
So you didn't find it, you stole it, Mowgli. That's the word.
I found it and saved it for myself.
Who did you find it on?
No one.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. I want to fight Ray, but first I gotta figure out what's going on here.
That's fine. That's fine.
Can I go back and find Amun?
Yes, he's not too far.
Okay. I got a little trick for you. Alright. Hang on. Hang on. I got a trick for you. Okay. I'm going to look towards... Gosh, I don't want to lean too far into the... Because we've already made jokes, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to see how this fares with you. Okay. I'm gonna look to Amun and I'm gonna say, Amun, I have a plan, but I need you to stay by my side for the entirety of the spell cast. Um, and make sure that I don't lose sight of myself or you lose sight of me, and make sure Mowgli's around because he's stolen beef jerky already, and I don't want him to get lost with beef jerky because that's just not a good plan. Can you do that?
I think I can handle that. Yeah.
Okay. I'll stay right by the pool of the fountain, and I'm going to, get on my knees and begin casting the spell Find Steed.
Oh. Okay.
And what I'm going to do, if you'll allow it, so I'll read the spell. I won't read the whole thing. It's a long thing. I'll just read the high level first paragraph. You summon a spirit that assumes the form of an unusually intelligent, strong, and loyal steed, creating a long-lasting bond with it. Appearing in an unoccupied space within range, the steed takes on a form that you choose: a warhorse, a pony, a camel, an elk, or a mastiff. Your GM might allow other animals to be summoned as steeds. The steed has the statistics of the chosen form, though it is a celestial, fae, or fiend, your choice, instead of its normal type. Additionally, if your steed has an intelligence of 5 or less, its intelligence becomes 6 and it gains the ability to understand one language of your choice that you speak. Okay. With that, I know that there's a list of steeds. I'm going to ask my GM if I can have a new steed. I'm going to let me hear you out on this. I'm going to say, could I have the steed of an adolescent, small, petito, steed size, modest, okay? So not its normal adult size, an adolescent sized purple worm.
You know what? It's so funny that you would mention that. I will say that through your powers, you shall be granted that, because they are actually pertinent to the location.
If I'm summoning a purple worm to fight other purple worms, Ray, I'll get another ticket and go to Grand Rapids and beat your ass right there. All right? So I just want to let you know.
You feel yourself channeling the spell. Amun feels the ground shaking as you are doing so. Mowgli has since dropped his jerky.
It's not his.
Donned his.
I don't know why you changed it.
It's my world. He
turned into Austin Butler.
I did. The ground begins to shake. You channel your spell. Spell circles begin burning themselves into the ground. And you feel somewhere behind one of the walls of the city an eruption of sand and earth as a purple worm bursts through a wall, adolescent in size, and it begins to slide forth before you, stopping from 80 miles per hour immediately to 0 through all magical power, bows its maul at you. It can understand your language. It cannot communicate, cannot speak, but it does understand you.
Just to clarify, while the steed is within 1 mile of me, I can communicate with it telepathically.
Telepathically, yeah. It can't audibly speak.
Yeah. I'm going to have it speak celestial. I want it to be a celestial purple worm. And I'm going to, noticing that the burrowed earth around me, I'm going to inquire that this purple worm investigate entirely beneath the city. I want this to be the most fucking the fastest, most thorough underground investigation check to see if there's something underneath the city, or if there's somewhere that my companions were taken to. Um, and if you find anything, to either communicate it to me within this mile range or come back to me and communicate it to me, and we can proceed from there.
You feel the presence of this purple worm. It gets the orders from you, and you feel a voice making its way into your mind. Hey, boss, I gotcha. These sons of bitches, they don't even know what's going on, and I feel some strange presence within the earths.
All right. All right.
I'm done with it.
All right. All right. He's definitely an adolescent.
If you really want to network, you might want to lose the bear. I'm just saying. And he burrows himself.
What is Mowgli doing right now?
He was arming himself over the present. Just kind of keeping guard on it, like trying to protect you, even though you weren't in danger. He didn't know what was going on. And Amun just kind of looks at you and he says, "You seem to be truly in good form. I was a little adverse when I saw you summon up a serpentine purple creature, but it was something I'm somewhat more familiar with."
My condition has made a lot of my behaviors a lot more suspect, so I understand. Keep up with the skepticism, and if something looks a little too far off, don't hesitate. But nonetheless, I forgot to make you guys aware, and then in my mind, I'll just quick say, what is your name? And I'll send that to the purple worm before it's a mile away.
What's my name?
My celestial purple worm. I say if he has a level. Hang on. What intelligence do worms even have? A 1. Okay, so it gets bumped up to a 6. So it gets bumped up to a 6. I think it's smart enough to give itself its own name.
I'm thinking in the terms of what a purple worm would have given a name. Since they don't use audible names, it would be more so like a basis of actions.
A chortle.
So, yeah. He's a little guy.
Don't think about the actual, anthropology of purple worms and how they name themselves, because you did not base the voice off of the anthropology and history of purple worms.
No, I'm basing it off of my mindset of the wild dragons in Aragon and how they would name themselves over through their actions, because, they didn't do name, they didn't speak.
You could call him Barry the Burrower.
Actually, Burrow's good is probably a good one. Burrow's good. So
right,
call him
say it in his
Burrow.
Voice. Say it in his voice.
You can call me Burrow's good, or Burrow, or Goody. Who knows? I don't care.
All right.
Doesn't bother me none.
I'll look towards Amun and Mowgli, and I'll say the purple worm's name is Burrow, or Burry, or Good. So if you want to address them, that's what their name is. So keep that in mind. And
all right.
Nonetheless,
yeah,
we must. While I ask Burrow, what are your pronouns, Burrow?
All of the above, baby.
All right. I look over to Amun and Mowgli. While he's digging, can you? We can search the city above ground, and he can search everything below, because I think this moved Earth, and I'll point towards the dislocated Earth above the by the fountain is a hint of what's going on around here.
So you guys are going to be hanging around the fountain while the worm searches underground?
I think us three as a unit are going to do above ground search of the city to get hints of where they went to, while Burrow takes on the effort below ground.
Roll me. You can roll me perception, investigation, or survival. All three things will do different things.
I think all of those checks for me are +1s, so
Oh, so it doesn't matter? Well, I mean, it
actually
does.
investigation is a +0. Okay, since investigation is the hardest one, I'll do that one. Keeps it interesting.
Oh, man.
Keeps it fresh. Wait, if they're assisting me, is that an advantage or
I'll
no?
give you advantage. I'll give you advantage.
Okay. Cacked. One of them's cacked. Okay. So the biggest one is 13.
13. You find remnants of what seems to be a short-lived chase leading from the trail of Falco Scimitar. Seems like he was disarmed very quickly. He lost track of his blade, whether it was due to being jumped, illusions, or anything else. It's hard to tell. Regardless, he was assailed, dropped his scimitar, traveled maybe a few blocks, and then was immediately befelled with what seems to be manipulated earth.
Okay. Manipulated Earth. When you say manipulated Earth, does it seem like it was manipulated by a animal or a creature or by magical means? Is that another check?
You get the sense that this is magical. There's no tracks insinuating a giant, large creature. There's no tracks insinuating a purple worm. But something manipulated the earth, and it seems like the trail goes dry after that.
Are these. Do I get the sense that these are magical traps that are being triggered or something else?
You look around, you don't see any triggers. There's no traps you initially see off the bat. You see that a number of skeletons remain here and there. I want to say, roll me another investigation check.
I'll do it. Regular roll or at advantage?
Are you in the presence of people? You told them to stay close?
I think if they were catching up, if they were following the Falco pursuit with me, I would think if I found the clues of a chase after Falco dropped his weapon, and by the way, I'll probably pick up his weapon to once I find him, I can just return it to him. So I'll pick up his weapon. Once I find a trail, I would think that they would stick with me because they would have the same lead with as me. So
Okay. Roll investigation with advantage.
a 14.
A 14. A number of these tracks seem to have the only tracks that remain are Falco's. You're trying to make sense of, a lack of a pursuer here and there, and you find something that's not present in the sand. It was present amongst some of the dust that was inside of one of these buildings. You see what looks to be the foot, a humanoid reptilian. More particularly that of a dragonborn. Something that couldn't be swept away. Or at least was overlooked. And leading back to the vanishing point, the earth itself is very abrupt, with a large amount of sand just kind of filling what looks to be a bowl that was not present. Almost like the ground was just impacted by something. But why would sand be remaining?
Interesting. I must ponder this.
And you get a message from your noble steed. Hey, boss.
What's up, Burrow?
I fell. You know, digging down is not a good idea. And I'm in a lot of pain, but I don't think I have any bones, so nothing's broken. But I found what looks to be an underground area.
Do you see people? Tell me what you see.
I see a white, scaly bastard. He's got a bunch of people in coffins, it looks like.
Do you see anyone do you see an elf, a grung individual, a doctor with an attitude, anything like that?
I do see a frog. Is that a grung or an elf?
That frog. How big is the frog?
The size of your chest.
Ooh, that might be something. That might be something. Do you see a dragonborn down there?
Yeah, I think so. I know what a dragon looks like. I don't know what a dragonborn looks like, but I got an intelligence of 6, so I can't be too sure.
Son of a bitch, he knows too much. Okay. Well, dragonborns look like if you put a human and a dragon together. You know, they walk on 2 feet and they got the scales and a little bit of the sass of a dragon.
Oh my god.
Write that down in your mind. I know you don't have fingers. Anyways, can you make it back up?
Yeah, I think I can make it back up.
Why don't you make it back up and we'll reconvene here shortly.
Right away, boss. And he starts burrowing up.
And so Burrow is on the climb back.
He's on the climb back. Do you have anything you want to do before he returns, or are you going to vacate the area?
I suppose that would be smart. No, I think I'm going to chill for now. I'm going to chill for now. I'm going to step to the side and I'm going to let Burrow do his thing.
Like magic, boom, he bursts up, creating a very similar hole in the ground. Not too different from the one that Falco had disappeared in at the end of the trail. Seems like whoever had taken him can similarly burrow in different ways.
Jeez Louise. Okay. I will look towards Amun and Mowgli and I'll say, we have to get onto the worm and investigate what's below us.
You see him take a long, deep breath.
I don't like it either.
How about I follow behind the worm?
I nod, and I'll look over to Mowgli. Mowgli, unfortunately, you don't get an option. We have to ride the worm.
Oh, dang it.
There's beef jerky on the other side of this if we find our friends, so don't worry. There's incentives.
Well, that's all he needs. You all adorn the worm while Amun basically hangs onto the tail, not wanting to be pelted with rocks, and it is a rocky ride. Purple worms are, when they're ever meant to ride, they're meant to ride with certain fortifications to keep rocks from hitting you, and you will have bruises for a while. It's tough, man. It's tough.
I would like to think because the hole is already made, there's not necessarily a need to make a new hole.
Yeah,
So
well, it kind of caves in a little bit, but all right.
we'll see. We'll see. I'll tell Burrow to try to use the holes that he already created.
As you travel down in this hole that Burrow has made, you get a slight feeling of homesickness. As you remember the last time you were traveling on a large serpentine creature with Amun
Yeah.
down to the city of the dead, and you feel like you've come a ways.
It's a different time.
It was a different time. And you find yourself in an underground cavern, which seems to be the wellspring of the water fountain up above. Glowing in turquoise, this underground cavern has what looks to be verdant growth, very green, very beautiful. Doesn't seem like it was this way until recently when a certain purification happened.
I'm good news. I'd like to think.
It's the proper mindset to have at the moment in time.
Yeah.
So, Isaiah, as you open up in this cavern, your dark vision kicks in. The only present light is this ever glowing turquoise water. Amun slinks into the shadows, and Mowgli sticks close to you as you hear what sounds to be the strugglings of your recent companions. You hear the calls of Falco. Is anyone there? Please! No pleading, but just inquiries from the sound heard.
Can I make a perception check to see if I either hear any other sounds or notice any other individuals that aren't my friends?
Make a perception check, opening up your 5 senses, and maybe even your 6th.
Okay. It's going to be a 17.
17. You look deeper into the cavern. Small rivers and deltas form here and there, leading up to what is essentially a large pool of water that has been formed from the source, flowing from a wall. You see what looks to be 3 stone coffins floating on the water. Not sure how, but the only thing visible is their faces, which is hard to make out the 2 L's, but you immediately see the grung, discern that it's him from the small form of the coffin. Distantly, you hear squawking and squealing as an ostrich is being assaulted by an unseen individual from an unseen place.
Do I see a white reptilian individual as described by Burrow?
Not at this moment, but you have a good idea that the source of that noise is probably that guy.
I'm gonna telepathically communicate with Burrow. Hmm. How big is Burrow in radius? Diameter, whatever you want to call it.
I'm gonna give Burrow the size large because any juvenile purple worm is already a large creature,
Yeah.
considering they grow to be gargantuan.
Okay. How long would you say Burrow is?
I'd give him a good like 15 to 18 feet.
Okay. Would you say that his mouth is probably like 7 feet wide, 8 feet wide,
Yeah,
9 feet wide?
I'm gonna say that a purple worm's head is probably the first thing that really, matches the size of its body to be pretty large.
Are the coffins in sight or no?
They're in sight at this moment in time. They're a little ways away. They're a good, I would say, maybe 100 feet away because Burrow decided to keep you guys in stealthily.
And does there look like to be a? I know there's the well, and then there's all the pools of water feeding into the delta and all that. Is there like any sort of structure or temple or anything down underneath here?
It looks like on the other side of the lake, past where the coffins are, there seems to be some type of temple-like structure. Yes.
Hmm.
And I will say that there is a further cave mouth going down a little bit ways past the temple to the right, suggesting more underground.
Okay. Um. Then in that case, I'm going to. I'm going to. Mm. Okay. I'm going to tell Burrow telepathically wait here and await further orders. I have a plan. It's not a good one, but it's a good plan in my mind, which is not a bar for quality whatsoever, but just rock with me. Okay.
This is why we pay you the big bucks, boss.
All right.
All right.
All right. You stay here. I look towards Amun is he still on his way down here?
No, he's just
he's-
hiding in the shadows at this moment in time, taking in the scene.
Okay. Amun, are you willing to come with us, or would you describe your condition as not unbefit for potential encounters?
Oh, I'm fit as a fiddle. Let's go.
Okay. We might have to strum that fiddle today. Wait, hold on a second. Pause. Burrow, cover your ears. And then I'll look over to Mowgli. Mowgli, are you ready?
Mowgli looks badass for a moment in time, gets some real nice shading going on. I am always ready.
Okay. Let's do this. I will get off Burrow, and I will begin walking towards the coffins. And the coffins are across the lake water?
Yep, they're floating on the surface of the lake magically at this point in time, it seems like.
How far out?
Let's say 60 feet.
Okay. I'll look towards. Do I know if Mowgli's stronger than me? Probably.
Mm, what is your strength score right now?
14.
14? He's a little bit stronger than you. Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay. Then I will fasten a sort of makeshift lasso with my 100-foot rope, and I will have I'll have Mowgli cast the lasso, and we're gonna try to reel it in. I'm
Okay.
gonna encourage him to aim for Falco first. Do I see who is potentially engaging with uh, the ostrich?
You don't see initially at this moment in time. You'd have to go a little bit further up there past a little ridge that just keeps you them obscured, basically.
Okay. Um, then in that case, I'll just continue with the plan. Make the lasso, give it to Mowgli, reel in Falco.
All right. I will say I'm going to roll a perception check to see if anything is noticed. That is a 9. I'm going to say that you guys are able to get the lasso around the stone itself. You pull it all the way to shore. And the moment you're about to touch it, Falco shakes his head, saying no. And he whispers towards you, Geomancer is magic.
Mm, okay.
You'll know.
Okay. I'll look towards him and I'll say, "Is the Geomancer with the ostrich?"
He shakes his head, yes.
Okay. And I know that it's coming from up by the ridge.
Yep.
Okay. Then in that case, I will pull in the next one, the growing individual.
Okay. Roll
If
perception on that.
if Mowgli can, toss it that far.
Yep. Boy. When Mowgli lassos the grung, he pulls the grung a little bit too hard because it's a small little coffin and submerges the grung under. As the coffin's opening begins to fill with water, it sinks to the bottom. However, you're initially dismayed, and Falco says, They're fine. They're fine. They can breathe.
The grung can
And
breathe.
yeah, the grung can breathe. And Mowgli begins to pull the grung on the bottom of the lake bed all the way to shore. And yeah, the grung is fine.
Okay. The last coffin belongs to the doctor. As I
And
have it.
as soon as you throw the lasso for the doctor, the coffin lids close shut, and their faces are obscured. As over the ridge, you see a white scale dragonborn, bare chested, wearing 2 gauntlets very familiar to you, holding the ostrich by the neck, who's unconscious at this moment in time, and he says, Oh, is he fine?
Mm,
In the moment he tries to pull the lid off, Mowgli does, the coffin gets pushed down deeper into the ground as the geomancer puts a fist forward and punches the ground. He pushes forward and he says, "Well, well, if it isn't the bear, I was not expecting you, but I assume Amun won't be too far away from you. Who's that?" And he points directly at you.
I look towards him and I say that um, I was sent here by the gods because, as I understand it, Thoth doesn't take squatters.
He looks at you and he starts to laugh a little bit. Squatters. So what would that make you?
Uh, the living, breathing eviction notice.
You're real cheeky. And kind of familiar. He pushes forward a little bit more. At this point, he drags the ostrich behind with his right hand. So, do you know where Amun is? Is he hiding nearby? At this moment in time, you've noticed that Amun is missing from your present view.
Yeah. I'll look at him and I'll take a step forward since he feels comfortable to walk towards me, and I'll say, he is in the area. He is, we'll call the break in case of emergency. I'm just trying to assess why you're trying to put some seemingly harmless individuals into your little stone boxes here.
Well, you see, I am under the mandate of the Divine General Chiraku. You see, I'm serving under a new administrator. His name's Isaiah. And I am responsible for taking in a criminal, a murderer. Amun. His uncle, so he says. Amun, if you can hear me, you're under arrest for the murder of the artificer Sezugara, the evasion of arrest, and assault of Isaiah. Now, if I put the squeeze on you, will he come out?
It depends, buddy. How tight can you squeeze?
Very tightly. And he moves forward a little bit more.
How close is he from me?
He gets about 10 feet. And I will say this, you begin to recognize him.
Is he related, affiliated, emotionally tied to an individual known as Malice?
You are absolutely correct.
Son of a bitch.
As it dawns on you, this is Tombmaker, his quote-unquote father.
Ah. Isaiah's the Divine General? What a bitch. I don't like that guy. Okay.
It might not be the same thing, but you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to roll me initiative.
Yeah. This is appropriate. All right. All right. You can probably go first. What did you get? I got a 3.
Oh, I got a 10 total, an 8 for a 10.
Okay. I don't know. Are we having anyone else roll initiative?
Amun and Mowgli will absolutely roll initiative.
Okay.
You want to roll for Mowgli?
I will. What's
I'll
his
roll for
modifier?
Amun.
Does he have a modifier?
I believe he has a +1.
Okay.
Oh.
Mowgli has a dirty 20.
Very good. Mowgli is going first then. Let's see here. It goes Mowgli, it goes Amun, Tomb Maker, and then you. Your 3 companions are currently imprisoned at this moment in time, and will eventually run out of air as they are completely sealed in. Keep that in mind. However, the battle is just beginning.
Yeah.
So, Mowgli is going to make his battle cry and rush forward with his large celestial mace in order to take him down a peg. He's going to make his 2 attacks. He rolled a natural 2
What a bitch. I mean, respectfully.
and a natural 8. So Mowgli takes his mace and he pounds it directly onto the Dragonborn's chest. And as he does so, his chest gives way and shows an amount of earth formed around it that just dissipates and pushes the mace backwards. He does the same with the second strike, trying to take off the Dragonborn's head, and the Dragonborn's head dissipates into sand and then reforms immediately.
Jeez.
And he smiles.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, alright.
Next up, I believe, is Amun. Amun had already rolled stealth the moment he found out who was after him. He couldn't tell you about it.
Yep.
Amun is going to come out of the shadows and he's going to make his 2 attacks. Amun gets a little bit of an element surprise on the first strike, so... Oh, geez. That's a natural 1 and an 18, which will not hit. So Amun's first strike hits him. Tomb Maker sees it coming at the last second, and he raises his Gauntlet of Geb, which you are most familiar with, and deflects his shot almost effortlessly with his greater strength. The second hit is a natural 1. Oh my god.
This game's rigged. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest.
it might be rigged.
You got...
Amun takes a kick towards him and just hurts himself, basically knocking himself onto the ground, knocking himself prone.
He told me he was ready. He was not ready. It's okay.
It's up to you now. Keep in mind, your purple worm will act on your turn if you ask it to do so.
Yep. Hmm. What does he? What does Two Maker look like once Amun tries to attack him?
He looks very I would say he's locked in, bro. He sees Amun, he sees his mission, and he's smiling gleefully at the pro- prospect of having a very strong fight. But at this moment in time, he seems to be focused on his mission. Actually, you know what? Give me an insight check as well.
All right, that's a 15.
15. I'm gonna roll. Yeah, 14. He is subtly under the effects of illusions. You see it in his eyes.
Hmm. Okay. Can I? Then I'll do this. I'll do this. I'm gonna. I'm gonna bait it out. See if I can get something on him. I'm going to take a step towards him, and I'll say, if a fight's really what you want, let's limit the playing area. And I'm going to cast Magic Circle around us four.
Oh.
As I cast a glowing lavender cylinder of 40 feet tall, as I understand. And it's 20 feet tall. That's my bad. It is 10 feet tall. And um, could I discern whether Tomb Maker is a celestial elemental, fey, fiend, or undead?
He is neither of those.
Okay, I'm gonna cast a spell for no reason. Um, okay, the creature can't willingly enter the cylinder by non-magical means. If the cylinder tries to use teleportation, player must succeed on a charisma saving throw. Okay. Okay. Then I think I just. Wait a second. Leaving the cylinder, protecting targets outside. A creature has a disadvantage on attack rolls against targets within the cylinder. Can I make a deception check to make it seem like it's a spell that does hinder him, and he has to think about that?
Yeah.
All right. That's a 14 on my deception check, and I want to give him the impression that he can't leave this circle. And I'm gonna do that by. I'm gonna manipulate some of the glyphs to. I'm gonna just choose that the glyph affected here is. I'm gonna say that this is gonna affect elemental creatures. I'm gonna use my deception check to see if I can conjure up fake sigils that look like magicians, sorcerers, or casters to give the impression that this affects only elemental casters, and see if he discerns through that.
All right. I will do a quick roll. An insight check. He takes a step back when you initially cast this large circle around your friends, and he seems tentative to actually put a foot forward. Only getting so far as to circle around it. He feels very confident in himself, and at this point in time has not taken away his battle stance, but he simply takes up a spire of rock, and he's going to launch it in your direction.
Okay. Do I make a dexterity saving throw, or do I have to just take this?
Actually, it's not his turn, so he's not going to do that. It's
Does
Mowgli's turn.
Isn't it his turn before me?
It is, but Mowgli goes first. And then Amun.
Oh, so then why did I take my turn?
Oh, because it was your turn in the order.
Oh, what did he do on his first turn?
Oh, wait. No, it is his turn before you.
Okay.
God, we messed this all up. It's been a long time, guys. It's been a long time.
Jeez, get your shit together, Ray.
Yeah, he's going to send a jet of rock towards you, basically.
Okay. We'll just say
he's
that
gotta roll
what I did on my turn is still the case.
Yeah. He rolled in that one. He throws a jet of rock towards you.
Congratulations, everyone wasted their first turn.
He sees that it can enter, but that doesn't prevail his understanding of it either. So
Leave
he's
it.
going to...
The rock can leave it.
Yeah, he's going to send his second one. And that's a 3 on the die. He sends another one towards you. It does basically nothing. And as far as he can tell, your magical circle is potent. So he's going to circle around and go near towards the right side of the bed of the lake, or the coast of the lake, and he's going to settle himself there.
I just want to let you know that we're all in the magic circle when I cast it on my turn.
Oh, you cast him in it?
Yeah.
That was the deception? Okay.
The deception is to make it seem like this is affecting elemental casters, and he can't leave the circle.
Okay, so he's just going to launch his...
That's
basically
why
his things at you, and then go the 10 feet distance that he can as far away from you as possible. But
okay, it's not going to be much. It's a tight space because it's a 10-foot radius.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why when you said I throw the rocks and they enter the circle, I corrected you and said exit the circle because I casted it around us. But nonetheless, my turn plays out the exact same as it does, so then it would just go back to Mowgli.
All right, Mowgli is going to get up. He looks to you for guidance in a split-second time.
I just say, can I communicate telepathically with Mowgli?
We'll say for this case, yes.
Okay, I'll say in my mind, you're doing great. It's just that this time you need to hit him.
Okay. Oh, a 9 and a natural 20 to hit.
All right. That's
so
makes up
one
for
of
it.
these is going to do it. Mowgli at this point has learned from his mistakes, like many of us cannot. And he's going to take one swing with his mace up top, forcing the bastard to block it, and down below he brings an underswing with his knee. I'll say, yeah, he goes for a knee, essentially, to take his focus off. And he actually collides with him for, 8, 9, and 13 points of bludgeoning damage. Not bad. So he knocks the wind out of this Dragonborn, and the Dragonborn just kind of smirks a little bit, but it's a drop in the bucket, basically.
Okay. Then, yeah, it would be Amun's turn.
Amun does a capoeira kick in the direction of this bastard. At this point, he's trying to keep himself from falling out of the circle, so it's definitely throwing him off. And Amun is going to not land his first hit and not land his second hit. He's going to take... Oh, jeez. Yeah, I rolled 2 3s. This bastard is making a fool of him. Amun is going to do something different the next time, and I need to remember that.
Yeah.
He sees that it's not working out, regular physical attack, so he's got to do something else. That's going to come back to Tomb Maker. Tomb Maker is going to stone shape and cut you guys all off. He's going to cut the circle in half with a huge stone wall.
Interesting.
leaving Amun and him on the other side.
Interesting.
That goes to your turn.
Okay. How big is the stone wall?
I will find out for you real quick. It is... Well, I shouldn't say stone shape. It's going to be about 20 feet tall, and it's going to be wrapping them up in a circle, essentially. Which is just going to leave off a tiny piece of the circle on the other side.
It's 20 feet tall. Okay, then...
Wall of stone, pardon me. 6 inches thick. Oh no, it's going to be 10 feet tall.
Damn, okay. Sounds good. Is that just it for his turn?
Yep, and now it's yours.
Okay. I'm going to... bonus action Misty Step to the top of the wall.
Okay, alright.
And I'm going to try to... Just to clarify, is... Falco's Scimitar is a +1 weapon?
Yes.
Okay. Let me go to my inventory. I'm going to use that. I believe. Okay, then I'm going to jump down and fucking try to stab him on the way down. And I don't know how close he is to Amun, but is there an opportunity for advantage or no?
Not at this moment. I'll give you advantage because you're attacking from above, and he has a predator mindset, so he never looks up.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh my gosh, what are all these rolls? That's a 2 and a 5. So that's going to be
2 and a 5.
Yeah, so that's going to be the first attack. So now I jumped in, and now I'm right next to him. So this will be my second attack with a 20-foot drop. Is there fall damage for that?
I'm gonna say yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna say you can roll fall damage. Are you trying to land on him?
Not if I'm trying to strike him. Probably not.
Okay.
So it'll just be a D6. Right?
I think it's... Yeah, I want to say it's a D6.
Okay.
Or 2d6, but I'm going to say 3 damage.
Okay, I took 3 damage. And then I'll make my second attack, which will be a normal attack.
He's really trying not to fall out of the circle, so it's real cramped at this moment for him, but you're able to step out. Are you able to step out of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, I'm not an elemental.
Okay.
The creature can't willingly enter the cylinder by non-magical means. Yeah, it only affects the particular creature type in question.
Yeah, I was just wondering about the caster being able to step out if they're able to.
If I was an elemental, probably not. That is a dirty 20.
That will hit.
A dirty 20, that'll be a... I don't think you can use Scimitar as a two-handed weapon, so it's only just one strike. So it'll be a D6 plus 3. So that'll be 5 points of damage, but I'm going to make it uncomfortable for him. And I'm going to use... Oh, I already did my bonus action. Okay, so if I use my bonus action, then I'll just use my regular action to burn a second level spell slot to do my improved smite. And with my improved smite, that'll be extra radiant damage. So that'll be 5 damage of just slashing damage. Then I get to roll a d8. That's just a 1. Very unfortunate.
Okay.
And then when you hit with the melee, 2d8 extra damage to the target plus 1 level extra higher than the first. And he's not an undead or a fiend, so it'll just be 2 extra d8. Or wait, 2 extra d8. Okay, yeah, it's just 3d8. 6, 7. So 13 points total of radiant damage plus 5 points of slashing damage for a grand total of 18 damage. And
all right, very
he... Oh, it's not blinding smite. Otherwise I would have done that. Ooh. And that'll be it.
All right. As you strike into him
With lavender.
With lavender.
Yep, that's the color of my smite, yeah.
Oh yes, that's right. You see the initial shield of earth form from his skin, almost like his flesh itself forms, starting from the gauntlet, surging down. He tries to block it with his forearm. And your smite basically exists before your blade does, striking away the shield, and you cleave straight into his forearm, launching blue blood amongst the three of you. And he does wince at the sight of that. And you see the gauntlets begin to glow slightly, a little bit more. And he begins to smile a little bit more at this point in time, because he's starting to realize that you might be something a little more than he thought.
Do you guys... Do I know anything about these gauntlets?
Yeah, they're yours.
They're the ogre gauntlets?
Yeah, they are.
So why would they be glowing? Why do I not recall that?
They're in the hands of a geomancer at this moment in time, and since the gauntlets are tied to Geb, they have a little bit more to them in the possession of certain individuals.
Oh, jeez.
Kind of like handing a wizard the Book of Thoth. As your strikes prevail, he suddenly looks not as confident as he did before. Next up is Mowgli, who is, at this point in time, behind the wall. However, as a celestial summoning, he is capable of flight. And you see Mowgli fly up above onto the other side of the circle, and he begins his striking of this Dragonborn. I'll say that you guys will get advantage now that Mowgli takes an outside area.
Good.
That's good. He actually is going to land that strike. Roll his second one. Oh, shit. Well, floor dice don't count. That's too bad. Alright. Second one won't hit, but one of them will. He strikes him over the head with a good 11 points of damage. Not bad for our buddy there. Next up is Amun. Amun screams to you, "Atom, close your eyes!" And Mowgli does the same. And a flashing, blinding light comes from Amun's mouth.
Oh. Ooh. Okay. I shut my eyes.
I'm going to roll a Constitution save, which is pretty good for sorcerers, so hopefully he doesn't pass that. Okay, all right, there we go. I rolled a 4 on the die for a lot more, basically 12, and he is blinded for this moment in time.
God bless. God bless.
So at this point, he's been struck, he's blind, he no longer sees Amun. You hear Amun just kind of, "Are you sure you caught me? Or did we catch you, Tomb Maker?" As I'm going to say that that's going to be Amun's turn. He's going to cast that little spell feature of his, and you have a blind Tomb Maker in front of you at this point in time. So you will be striking with advantage no matter what.
1 second. Okay. Tomb Maker is blind. He's screwed.
He's blind.
But
he's
it is
flailing.
his turn.
It is his turn.
Okay.
This does not give him many options. He is going to burrow out of panic. So you see him take what is essentially an iron horse stance, puts both elbows to his hips, fists forward, and he basically just punches down, and he goes down, giving you guys opportunity attacks.
Okay. I'm taking my out. And that's at advantage?
We'll say so, yeah.
Oh, wait. He's blind anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't land, but this will land. Nope, shit.
Oops. That'll be a 25.
25 will hit.
And I'm going to use a 3rd level Divine Smite to really beat the brakes off of him. So that'll be a... Give me a d6. That's going to be 8 points of slashing damage. And then I'll do my... Divine Smite. And that'll be... 26 points of radiant damage.
Very nice.
And I'm gonna send a telepathic message to Burrow, and I'm gonna let him know, hey buddy, we got a white dragonborn trying to dig away. Try to scoop him up before he gets too far.
You got it, boss. And he's gonna. You hear the sound of gravel shooting about on your mental link.
Nice.
Like you put the mic up.
And then
You hear that? You hear that?
I'll send a telepathic message to Burrow. I say, you're a purple worm. It's pretty hard not to hear it. And then go ahead.
You feel a little bit of subtle racism. Was that racist? Was that racist, boss? I can't tell.
I console him. I say, buddy, I'm purple too.
Oh, fair enough.
And then I send a mental note to Mowgli. I say, let's ignore Tomb Maker for now. We gotta free our friends from these coffins. And then Amun. I'll look towards Amun and I would say it's preferable for us if we don't kill Tomb Maker.
Amun will nod in your direction. I can't imagine that getting rid of him would help us too much. If he's not too far away from us, I can imagine Ion might not be too far either. We have to go.
And if he's under the guise of the Divine General, killing him only makes us a bigger target for not only him, but people who may support him.
We'll give them less reason to actually come over us if we let him go.
Does this break initiative?
This breaks initiative for the time being.
I'll take my mace out and start trying to break through the 6-inch stone wall.
You start breaking through the wall. Just roll me an attack roll.
Okay. A natural 1.
You break. Your arm just shatters. Oh my god. I will say, I do want you to roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Okay. That is a 10.
10. For a second in time, you do feel like your mace grows almost 30 feet in height, and you can't swing it. And then you shake your head, and you realize the illusions are trying to take you again.
Can't do
You have
this.
to.
I
You
look
gotta
at
go
Mowgli.
fast.
I look at Mowgli and I'm like, yes, Mowgli is real. I confirm that. Mowgli is real. Is Mowgli trying to break through this? He knows the mission. He knows that this is
Uh,
in the way.
Mowgli is going to grab you and fly up.
Oh, okay. Good.
Amun's just gonna Prince of Persia wall jump his way up.
Gosh. Goaded. Sounds good. Then in that case, I will get to town on the Falco one. I'll just beat that one so that I want to break it so that there's at least a hole for air. So then once we get everyone access to air, we'll be good. I need an update. Where's the ostrich?
The ostrich thrown to the side on the edge of a rock formation.
Still
Unconscious.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then in that case, all right, cool. Then I'll try to break open the Falco one.
You are able to break it open in due time. I won't have you roll for it. You break it open. He is holding his breath the whole time, so he doesn't take in any rocks as you just clamber through. And he looks rather annoyed. Mostly.
Okay. Then in that case, I will give him back his scimitar, and I'll move on to the next one. Try to get the grung out.
You spank the grung coffin. The grung on the inside is unconscious.
Not breathing.
You check. There seems to be a pulse, but just unconscious.
I'm gonna give him 10 points of lay on hands from my healing pool. Give that to him. I'm gonna say, "Come back, buddy. We need your grunginess."
You fill up some HP in there, and yeah, the grung is back up in action. You feel the presence of poison all along the grung skin, but you still retain your immunity to poison, so you don't feel the need and desire.
I lick the grung. No, I don't.
Oh man. Oh man.
So those illusions, right? Automatic fails.
Yeah. That's
Automatic
crazy,
fails.
bro. I would never do that.
Yeah. And then let's see. I will then open up the docks one with reluctance, but I'll do it.
All right, you get the docks one from the center of the lake, and you open it up, and he is also unconscious at this moment in time. He definitely looks a lot more beat up than the others did.
I'm giving him the same treatment. 10 points of lay on hands. Keep it pushing.
Okay. His black eye goes away, and his bruising settles a little bit more, but he does wake up, and he looks a little beaten up. He put up a decent amount of fight, or at least Maker definitely gave him the business.
And then finally I'll give the last 10 HP to, or not last 10 HP, but another 10 HP to the ostrich on the coast. Be like,
okay, yeah, that's the important one.
yeah. And I'll be like, we still have a desert to navigate, buddy. You can't take a nap now.
He wakes up and he's like, is that you, father? Father?
It's not your father, but you can call me daddy. Anyways,
Oh,
you
God.
need to get up. You need to get up.
Yeah, he gets up.
And then
Oh.
I will. I'm gonna send out a mental message to Burrow, and I'm gonna be like, Burrow, what's the status report?
You will get back from Burrow. Yeah, boss. This guy's making a whole lot of noise. I'm chasing him, and we're back on the surface now. But there's more things up here. There's a bunch of shambling things, a bunch of shambling people. They're just slowly making their way towards them, and some of them are moving a little faster than others. But it's getting a little weird. It's getting a little spicy here. Do you want me to get closer to try to scoop them up, like you said?
I'll say, no, Burrow, please come back. It's not worth it. He'll probably show his face up again in the near future. But in the meantime, we need to regroup.
All right. I trust your judgment. I'm gonna take the highway to you.
Sounds good.
And you hear them digging.
And with that, I will look towards the group and I'll say, I think it's only in our best interest to let Toonmaker leave for the time being. I think he understands the real threat we pose, so when he does come back, it may be with, we'll say, more passionate reinforcements, but at the same time, we know that he's coming after us, and so we don't have to be shocked.
You see the doctor wringing out blood from some of his cloth, and he just kind of looks at Falco and he says, "We need to stick together next time. We can't afford to be ambushed like we were before. So we all stick in groups. You and me, Falco." This is proving to be very troublesome. He looks over towards the ostrich with a little bit of venom in his sight. Maybe we must seek a new guide.
I look over to the ostrich and I'll say, you don't have to take this from them. You are a very good guide, but we got caught up with trying to make an encampment in an area that was not protected by a totem, and we paid the price for that accordingly. No one really anticipates that an entire geomancer is hiding beneath a city waiting for us to stumble in. Fortunately for us and unfortunately for us, we're in the Illusory Desert. It'll not only take him some time to leave, it'll also take him some time to navigate back in. And we have to use that to our advantage. Speaking
Ostrich,
of... Go ahead.
he looks at you and he says, "There's no way he can navigate alone. There's no way he would have found us. It's just a 1 in a million chance. He has to have a guide. I don't know who."
Then let's let that mystery be a mystery for now and hope that he still has to take time to regroup. I think for us, in our best interest and taking advantage of opportunities at hand, we should take advantage of this one. And I'll point straight ahead towards the temple across the lake.
Okay. We should make camp there. And set up watches.
We should.
And your purple worm crashes from the sky, lands in the lake. And suddenly, the doctor, Falco, and everybody who doesn't know about it arms themselves and says,
Everyone, this is Burrow. He is the companion that I summoned to help find you guys, since I thought you guys were stuck underground somewhere. So it's thanks to him that we got back to you guys pretty quickly.
A shocking revelation passes by. They accept your truth as they see it's not attacking and is juvenile. Camp is in the beginnings of being set up in this temple underground, or the sands of the desert don't quite reach as harshly on the surface. And we can leave it off there.
We can leave it off there. With that, we can let's talk about it. Let's talk about this episode. Been a long time coming. We came back. We got to the business pretty quickly. I like that we did not diddle daddle too much. We didn't waste too much time. I know I get to be a pretty slow player sometimes, so this was pretty cool to keep the momentum, the pace going. What was your favorite part of the episode? Least favorite part of the episode? What were you like? Damn, Patrick sucks at this game, or anything like that? What was any strong takeaways from this episode?
I think it's just fun to be back. Nothing impassionately provoking in my thoughts right now of like, this was peak or this was trash.
Yeah, yeah,
It's been a while, so we'll get back into it, and I have some time off next week where I will be able to do this again if you're available.
yeah. This was really good. It was fun to just be back, get back in the saddle. I think the only shock is, it's Mouse's dad. So how we handle that is going to be pretty key. And I like that you let me summon a purple worm. So that was a good on the fly call because I was trying to get creative with my solutions, but yet not be like, hand holdy in terms of what do I do. So I also needed confirmation that the city was important to stay at because I was thinking deeply about like I need to duck this city. I don't need to be.
You could have, yeah. That was fine.
But I didn't think that would have been. I think the encampment. Oh, that was the thing is like I really wanted to give that dude the proper burial, but I couldn't repair the totem in time before everyone got snatched up. So we'll make a mental note that I need to do that still, and then. In fact, maybe we'll have that as like an epilogue piece. I have Burrow take me to the top and grab the dude, and maybe I'll bury him in the temple or something like that.
Yeah, so that's fine. Here. You can bring him down below.
Yeah, but yeah. So I was really contemplating about escaping this. Couldn't because you rope-a-doped me, son of a bitch. But yep. That's the curse. But nonetheless, it was just fun to get back. So this was cool. Not too much to add. Maybe next episode we'll take some bigger swings from either a story perspective or a decision making perspective. We'll see. Who knows how kinky we may be feeling in the next week or so. But yeah, we can wrap it up here, and thank you everyone for listening. Remember, +1 weapons are not worth only 100 gold, and if you think so, you're on PCP.
Value, bro.
All right.
It's resale value.
All right. You guys have a good one. Talk to you later. Goodbye.
See ya.